Black played. On c5 check. Pause the video to find out white's response. King b3. Queen b1 check. King a3. Queen c1 check. King a4. White's idea is to play Queen d3 check. King e5. Queen e2 check and increase their advantage significantly. Pawn a6 was chosen by black. Black is aiming to play Pawn b5 check. King a5. Pawn takes c4 and dominate the board. King a5 move preferred by white. White is planning to play Queen b3. Queen g5. Pawn promotes to queen at g8. Queen takes g8. Queen takes g8 and put immense pressure on the opponent. King c6 move preferred by black. Queen e6 check. King c7. Queen b6 check. King d7. Queen takes b7 check. King d6. Queen b6 check. King d7. Black is looking to play Queen a3 mate and increase their advantage significantly. Queen takes c5 move preferred by white. Queen b1 white is in a commanding position. Let's go to the next game. Black played. King c4. Pause the video to spot white's next move. Queen c6. King b4. Queen takes c5 check. King takes c5. King d3. White might go for Pawn b6. King takes b6. King takes d4. King c7. King e5. King d7. King takes f5 and dominate the board. King takes b5 played by black. King takes d4. King c6. King e5. King d7. King takes f5. King e7. King g6. White is preparing to play King takes g7 and put immense pressure on the opponent. King f8 played by black. On f5. King g8. On f6. White is setting up to play on f7 check. King f8. On g4. King e7. King takes g7 and increase their advantage significantly. King f8 was chosen by black. Pawn takes g7 check. King e7. Black is outplayed. Let's go to the next game. Black played. Queen d4 check. Pause the video and try to predict white's next move. Queen takes d4. Pawn takes d4. King f1. On h5. On a4. King e4. King e2. Pawn takes g4. Pawn takes g4. King f4. King d3. King takes g4. On a5. King f5. On a6. King f6. On a7. King e5. Pawn promotes to queen at a8. White wants to play Queen f8. On g5. Queen f7. On g4. Queen f2 and increase their advantage significantly. On g5 white is dominating the board. Let's go to the next game. Black made a move. King h4. Pause the video and try to predict white's next move. Queen f2. King h3. Queen takes g3 check. King takes g3. King g1. King f4. On a4. White is aiming to play on a5. King e3. On a6. On c4. On a7. Pawn takes d3. Pawn takes d3 and establish a winning position. King e5 was chosen by black. King g2. King e6. King g3. King d6. King takes g4. On c4. King f5. White might go for on b4, on c3, on b5, king c5, king e5, and take decisive advantage. King c6 was chosen by black. King e5, king b6, king takes d4. King c6, white is dominating the board. Let's go to the next game. Black played queen c7. Pause the video to spot white's next move. Queen h8 check. Queen h7. Queen takes h7 check. King takes h7. On a4. On g5. King e1. King g6. On the 5. King f5. On takes g5. King e5. On g6. White is preparing to play. On g7. On e3. On takes e3. King e4. On promotes to queen at g8 and secure a stronghold in the game. King f6 played by black. On b5. White is aiming to play. King d1. King g7. On b6. On takes b6. On takes b6. King f6. On b7. King takes g6. On promotes to queen at b8 and dominate the board. King e5 was chosen by black. On g7. King d4. On promotes to queen at g8. King e5. Black is outplayed. Let's go to the next game. White just played king f1. Pause the video and try to predict black's next move. Queen f5 check. Queen takes f5 check. King takes f5. King g2. King e4. King g3. King d5. King g4. King c4. King takes g5. King takes c3. King g6. King takes c2. King takes g7. King b2. Black intends to play king takes a2 and secure a stronghold in the game. On a4 was chosen by white. On the 5. Black intends to play king a3. King f6. King takes a4 and increase their advantage significantly. King f6 played by white. King a3. King e5. King takes a4. King d4. Black is in a commanding position. Let's go to the next game. Black played queen e4 check. Pause the video and try to find white's next move. King b8. Queen e8 check. King b7. Queen b5 check. Queen b6. Queen d7 check. King b8. Queen e8 check. King c7. Queen e7 check. King c6. White is preparing to play queen b8. On g6. On promotes to queen at a8. On takes f5. Queen h2 check. Queen h4. Queen takes h4 check. King takes h4. King c5 and increase their advantage significantly. On g5 played by black. Queen b8. Queen f6 check. King d7. Queen takes f5 check. King e8. Queen e6 check. King f8. White might go for pawn promotes to queen at 8 and gain a significant edge. On f5 move preferred by black. Queen e8 check. Queen takes e8 check. King takes e8. King g4. On promotes to queen at a8. King g3. Black's loss is confirmed. Let's go to the next game. Black made a move. Queen e3. Pause the video to figure out white's next move. Queen takes e3. On takes e3. King g3. King e7. King f3. King f6. King takes e3. King e5. On g4. King f6. On h4. King e5. On h5. King f6. On h6. King g6. On g5. On b5. King e4. On the 5. King d5. White is aiming to play King c5. King h7. King takes b5. King g6. On a4, and take decisive advantage. On b4 played by black. Black wants to play pawn takes a3 and seize the initiative. Pawn takes b4 was chosen by white. Pawn takes b4. King c4. White is planning to play king takes b4 and put immense pressure on the opponent. King takes g5 move preferred by black. On h7. White is preparing to play pawn promotes to queen at h8 and gain a significant edge. Pawn b3 move preferred by black. King takes b3. King f4. White is in a commanding position. Let's go to the next game. Black made a move. Queen takes e6. Pause the video to find out white's response. Queen takes e6. Pawn takes e6. King g3. King g7. King f4. White is aiming to play pawn b4. King f8. King e5. King e7. Pawn f4. King f8. King takes e6. King e8. King d6 and take decisive advantage. King f7 was chosen by black. On b4. King e8. King e5. White is preparing to play king takes e6 and increase their advantage significantly. King e7 move preferred by black. On f3. White is aiming to play on f4. King d7. King f6. King d6. King g7 and dominate the board. King f7 move preferred by black. King d6. White is looking to play on f4. King f8. King takes e6 and put immense pressure on the opponent. On e5 move preferred by black. King takes e5. King e7. On f4. White is preparing to play on f5. Pawn takes f5. King takes f5. King d6. On h5. King d5. On g6 and gain a significant edge. King f7 move preferred by black. King d6. White's idea is to play King c7. King g7. King b7. On h5. King takes a6 and take decisive advantage. On h5 was chosen by black. King e5. King e7. On f5. White is aiming to play pawn takes g6 and secure a stronghold in the game. Pawn takes f5 move preferred by black. King takes f5. King d6. King f6. On the 5. On g6. Pawn takes b4. On g7. King c5. Pawn promotes to queen at g8. White is preparing to play queen b3. King d4. Queen takes b4 check and gain a significant edge. King d4. White has a decisive advantage. Let's go to the next game. Black made a move. Queen f5 check. Pause the video to spot white's next move. Queen g4 check. King f6. Queen takes f5 check. King takes f5. On d5. White is aiming to play on d6. King e4. On d7. On f3. Pawn takes f3 check and take decisive advantage. Pawn takes d5 played by black. On c6. White is aiming to play On c7. King e4. Pawn promotes to queen at c8 and sees the initiative. King e6 move preferred by black. King g4. On d4. Black is preparing to play. On d3. King takes f4. On d2. On c7. King d7. King takes g3. King takes c7. King f4. Pawn promotes to queen at d1 and dominate the board. King takes f4 played by white. King d6. King e4. King takes c6. King takes d4. Pawn a6. King e5. King d7. King f4. King c6. King takes g3. King d5. King f4. King c4. On g4. King b3. On g5. King takes a3. On g6. King takes b4. On g7. King c5. King e4. King c4. Pawn promotes to queen at g8 check. King c3 white has a decisive advantage. Let's go to the next game.